Well, all right, you guys. Sorry about that. All right. Chaos and drama going on, technical difficulties that are being induced, but it's okay. Because remember, like, this is causing a bunch of people to get banned from tech. It's causing a bunch of people to not be able to have companies in tech. It's causing a bunch of people to lose their certification in tech. They can't have their own tech business. They can't have an ISP provider. That's a great thing. So I just wanted to kind of give you guys like an update on some of the things that are happening here, but I wanted to get this device. Let's keep on going. Sorry about that, you guys. So they're just like playing on my channel, and everyone has like picked this up. It's a bunch of white people that don't want people of color to like learn in tech, which is why something very major is about to happen with my tech, with my page in the next few weeks. Because sorry, a bunch of people are about to find out. So that's what's going on in technology. Okay, now I see. So it's okay, you guys, but remember, it gives ammo to our stories, and it gets people set the fuck up, and it gets cases closed. Somebody also just discovered what happened with Apple. Perfect, perfect. That means that they're moving on them. They're moving on them tough. Good. Uh, Also, too, let's go ahead. So let's get started. So encryption, decryption, drama. So some of you guys are like, what's encryption? What's decryption? I want more cybersecurity. I don't want people going into my phone. I don't want, certain things like happening, right? Just want to make sure the stream is still going. When they say that encryption, that they have encryption, right? They take like your serial number, your IP address. Those are all in a specifically your IP address is treated like a file. Your serial number, whatever, is treated as like a file to get to a specific type of like file system. So when it comes to like kind of like encryption with your serial numbers and stuff like that, it goes a little bit, it's like it goes like a little bit deeper. Now, some of you guys are finding out like, oh, they have a specific like people that have like formulated their own encryption. There's like this African lady. She made like oh, she's doing cybersecurity. She made like $10 million. She's like a younger pretty woman. They went to go steal her work. Certain people like go through math, physics, learning about velocity, learning about circumference, diameters, things like that, going through constant tests and things like that to learn about encryption and create encryption tools. So you guys have to understand that it's like a big ass market to like create encryption tools, randomization schemes. There's another thing that they were uploading a bunch of indigenous people for. Like, oh, what do they have in their system? They have like maybe kids stories, organization systems, like how you have these divination boards, but like people didn't really understand. Like there's like different ones, right? Like weaving, whatever. That's how Russia came up playing in computer science early on because they were kidnapping a bunch of Bosnian women and then said we can do it like this, like this, like this, like this, stuff like that, right? So when we're talking about encrypt or decrypt, one of the things that is going to happen here is you guys are finding out that there is no such thing as encryption because they actually did something stupid on all the devices, stripping the metal. Now, one of the things that you can do to reset the metal is using certain floating points, arrays, and grids that you output to your CPU. Okay. And this is where the Lange's chemistry comes in, where you can use different floating points. They put them on chemical servers and you can like propagate those on your computer. So now one of the things that white people are getting caught up with the fact that you're going to need chemistry in order to like run your computer and do the things that you need to do. Somebody just wanted to tell me that I kicked somebody in the head and they're like talking about going to the hospital and having me charged. Good. Yeah, I did. I kicked somebody straight in their mouth. He was bleeding. He sent the photo. Okay, great. So one of the that's going on here, you guys, is encryption. That's another thing with encryption too. How is it possible for me not to get hit with ESP? I'm encrypted. I didn't start anything. Now I see, right? So when we're talking about encryption and decryption, encryption is basically like I take my string and then it gets sliced up, paired or merged with other strings, things like that, so that people can't backtrack and find like my password, my original VPN, my original this and this and that. They created like some like sinister like master encryption that actually took the ISP and IXP providers, the satellite itself being involved and all the different companies being involved to build. It's by no way, shape, or form something that a single person created. All the companies got together to create it, and they tied their hands with pedophilia and the second fucking your family network. So they're playing on my computer, trying to get this and this and that from me and a few developers. Like, oh, we don't want people seeing that we were actually putting kids in foster care, then making pornos with them, Mahaney and all them playing games. That's the fight that's happening now. But they don't know that this encryption thing that they're playing with, it doesn't matter what they're playing with because I'm going to show the feds how to unravel it. So I would suggest like something on physics, understanding frequency modulation, and also too something with rotations per minute, right? So when you're talking about encryption, like the standard, and this is where the black and brown community is about to thrive, right? Because it's in a different language. You can't unlock it. You need the electrical language, and then we hit you with the beats, the rotations per minute with the chemical, and we lock the valence too. So the valence won't even accept the pulsation of electricity towards it that throws off its rotation per minute. The chemical will just absorb it. So advanced encryption standards, lengths. This is how somebody got caught with that Rexel group. Why is the length? This is the same length. You're using the same system, right? So how would I put together a specific equation and then output that to my CPU or output that to my my memory banks, right? So you guys have your registers. Right, a bunch of fucking pedophiles like starting shit. Yeah, you're done in tech. So now you guys know that's what they're looking for. Oh, encryption. So that's how they've been playing with everyone, decrypting at the company level. It's the companies giving a bunch of white supremacists that to play on the computer with people of color. Now you see why they're passing away like that, right? So you have your registers. Now these different registers, oh, I can like upload something to my floating point register, my FPU. Then I can have something in that FPU that allows me to have a different memory organization or edit my existing one, and I can build my encryption like that. So that's one way. There's like 8 different encryption ways. Or I can take the standard, this is like where you get into forensics. So you're shattering the CPU completely to stop people from seeing who was playing on the computer. That's what Apple's doing with my computer now. Okay, I don't want people to see that it came from here and that. I want people knowing that I was doing that. Matt Haney. I don't want people knowing that I was like starting shit like that and that I'm schizophrenic like that playing in Daisy's computer because everyone's about to find out what the fuck I was doing. Now you see what they're like fighting for and pining for, AES. So advanced encryption like standards. So there's a few that the government puts as standards that's done for because they saw what they were doing with C++ Foundation, Linux Foundation, etc. There's ways that you guys can make your own. Other people are making your own. There's certain type of encryption that comes built into like terminals and stuff like that. Those are done for you. You have to make your own. You can. That's where they were hacking all the black and brown developers playing games like, oh, well, we make our H file. We don't show it to people, only our investors. So you got on people's computer to go play games. Imagine how disgusting that is. Now you see why people are getting chainsaws thrown at them. And you thought that you were going to eat off everyone's hard work and shit like that, and you fucking your family. Exactly. So now the advanced encryption like algorithms, right? Cryptography, cryptographic. It's like really cryptography. It's like hashing this, slicing this, pairing this together, inserting here. Like it's like that, right? So think about like slicing a string. Okay, you slice up a string. So if I have a string, right, I have a string. Start is the index to begin. Stop is where you stop again. Step determines the increment between indices. Oh, we. So step can also, you can say step like three. So even with the step, like increment between indexes, like you can start here, cut this up, index it here, stop, start again. This will be for like big sheets of data, like reading DNA screens. And then step would be like how many steps are in between the start and the stop. In between that, with the step, you can input like, oh, I want three random letters or four random numbers or whatever to scatter up the string. So this is how like encryption works. Like they take that and they scatter it up, your serial number, your IP, things like that, and people can't hack it. So this is how the feds are finding a certain type of like IP address and shit like that. It's coming from the feds doing it. It's somebody that was playing with a specific network extender. They're playing with child pornography. So we're back to that. So you see how she did this, right? Hello world. Print text, 0 out of 5. Print text 5. You see how they're scattering it up? There we go. So slice strings, pair strings, like all this type of stuff. This is like one of the ways that this is going. And then also too, like encryption, like example, like how to write the equations. Um, yeah. While, if, XOR, and no. False, true. Okay. So some of you guys are finding out like, okay, this is like one of the ways you guys need to study this. They hide a lot of this on the internet. There was like a little class that was going on. I learned about like all the different like encryption that they have, but they weren't showing exactly. People make tables like this all day. Yeah, somebody did something really wild with their octopus with this and they got somebody killed. Like, look at this, we can have this. This is what they're looking for, playing with people, playing with blood and shit like that. That's why I'm gonna have every single last person involved in this murdered. Don't you ever, ever deny that you're gonna end up in a coffin playing like that on my computer and starting shit like that. So that's why you have motherfuckers running in court talking about they need restraining orders because motherfuckers are getting kidnapped because they're starting shit like this. Like, okay, okay. So now, yeah, substitute each byte in the array. So substituting like each byte is like, oh, it's I can like substitute my VPN for this number, and this number. But one of the things too is like, oh, there's like not an infinite like amount. They can repeat. That's where you come in with your math and your FPU to be able to like do something completely different with that. That whites are looking for and kidnapping kids for. Okay, so just want to let you guys know this is what they're after. Like, oh, okay, they're trying. Okay, and they thought that they were going to get something from space from indigenous people that they stole from to lock their computer from the feds. So matrix multiplication, there's a way to see how many times did you do this? How many times do I need to do this? Matrix multiplication, add, XOR, etc. Bitwise functions. Let's look into that. I just got a message from Temu. Congratulations, you are in. Thank you. Because somebody got into somebody's shit. Let's get started. All right. So multi like manipulating data at the level of 0 and 1 binary. Okay, so this is like what people are looking for. Now, one of the things here is you guys see what we can do. So we can go ahead and play in that binary space with the electrical language. So this is what they're looking for to play in that space, like in the electrical like aspect, because the feds can just send in pulsations, break things here and there, and get in. So this has something to do with circuit gates too, circuitry gates and stuff like that. That's gonna come up. Okay, great. Yes, several people are gonna end up getting murdered. You're gonna hear about hella bloodbaths at every tech conference. It's dead. The feds are planning for it. Yeah, there's a few fights in different like law enforcement agencies, local in different counties and shit like that about how to handle it. Yeah, bitwise operators. Now, this is one of the things I want to teach you guys about this encryption, decryption. So especially for the feds. So let's say, for instance, let me pull this up. I have my notes here. Also, be careful with what type of CSS that you're using. CSS5 you want to be using because something goofy ended up happening with them playing with the hex table for colors for GPU NFT, and something needs to be done in CSS5 for some of the things you guys are building. All right, so let's look into this, right? So let's say, for instance, I have like a string. I have a string and I want to decrypt, right? So this is you guys are gonna get a new tool. It's a flower that I have because they keep on playing games with me. It's like a bitch in space that it's like I'm far, far away. This flower is like far, far away. She's died all the way up. She's like hiding in that last flower, playing like, oh, I'm gonna take over your flower. Give me this and give me that. Give me that and do this and do that. And why is this stopping and why is this breaking? Because she wants to play on the computer, but she's a whore. Now, one of the things that's happening here is like she was a flower all the way up there. Yeah, but you have to understand they were hiding their body. They just now turned on their flower to find out that their flower's not up there. She's beefing. She anchored herself to a flower that's like my daughter's age. That's on my daughter's like structure. That flower my daughter has is related to my flower. She's playing with my child and 3 years old through something that the babies like go and do with their aquatic being. They just like play and stuff like that to try to get to my flower to play. So then, because that didn't work, she instructed them to go play with everyone's children sexually. Like, oh, then I'll get the flower that I want because the flower would do this and that. It's like some schizophrenic bitch that doesn't know what the fuck she's doing. Thank you. So that's done for. That's like actually really done. So just know, like, okay, so there's absolutely positively no way to activate this unless I say so. So absolutely positively no way. Okay, great. And they know that. That's why they're looking for my blood in the site for it. And that's why somebody got murdered over that. Okay, great. So you guys are seeing this now. Okay, now I see what they think that they're about to be doing. Now you see. So let's say, for instance, this flower, some of you guys have these flowers. Some of you guys need to upgrade your flower. Some of you guys have an octopus or an iguana that has this. Especially for those of you guys that had your computer tapped and your shit stolen, that's how we got this flower or that octopus or that tool. Wow. So let's say, for instance, like, okay, he has a certain type of encryption going on. Let me get in my terminal. It's like a specific one that they have to go into like everyone's terminal or to go into like a specific like companies and things like that. Let me see this. Let me encrypt this or that for her. You have this flower, this octopus. They'll tell you bitwise Zor 6 times, unsigned 5 times, Zor another 6 times that way, shift left 7 times that way, multiply 9 times, subtract this many times. Or it will tell you for encryption, use this AES, use this equation 3 times. The Byzantine Empire problem, that's already solved. That has something to do with spiral chemistry. Like that's really done for. So it's like a math problem for cryptography and like hashing that they're trying to figure out in Bitcoin so they can play with multiplying databases and having the same value on, attached to the coin. Um, Byzantine Empire, some shit like that. Just be careful what you do, okay? Because you can really get yourself killed. Right. So achieving a consensus, because remember that consensus is what they're approving on the network with the hashing algorithm. So how to do that with one hashing machine for like 8 bitcoins at a time to like split up that electricity that's needed for the consensus. So now you see what they're looking for, like, oh, electrical language. Okay, so that's why you guys are finding out that white people are getting banned from tech altogether. That's not a joke at all. Okay, cool. Yeah, I was talking to an older lady today. She said, oh, you guys finally did it because she's been hearing about bullshit. Right, right. So then what they did was kidnap people to sit there and do it at the same time so the feds wouldn't get on their ass for three other coins that they're playing with. Backfire. Oh, so that's what you're doing. That's what they're doing with little kids. If the kids do it, then no one will see it. It's their iguana or octopus, and then we'll do this, and I'll put semen here. Then you hold this child down, I'll hold this child down, and this will happen, and the iguana will get mad because they'll see this and that, and then they'll do this and that. So when you're seeing Kate Mater, Melissa Blaustein, Alyssa Hauser, all these hosts of Charlotte, just know for a fucking fact, they know exactly what they're doing. They agreed to it. So they can play fucking games. Cool. So now that these hoes have got fucking exposed, and now that this is going left and right with the feds and they can't answer it, now they're gonna come out like I was working behind the scenes and I couldn't say anything because of my ex and my son was involved with this person. I didn't want to expose weight and I just couldn't tell you that this was going on. They know what the fuck they're doing. They're all whores. Cool. Right. Now you see what Ebony Felix is looking for on my computer. You weird bitch. So now we see, okay, of course, there. Oh, also too, I want to tell you that they're playing in my computer and somebody's finding out something about biochemical pathways. Oh, every single time we try to play in Daisy's computer on her page, it like shatters something with the biochemical pathway. Cool. So now you guys are seeing like, okay, and then you guys can pick tables to pull from to encrypt this and that, and everyone has found this. We have this hyperdimensional language, we have this and this and that, we can do whatever. That's why they're like, oh, let's upload people to virtual reality, but it doesn't scan for that. So now the bitwise operations tool that we're playing with, some of you guys want to play with like zero and ones here too. So how do I encrypt? I can output like an encryption algorithm. Let's say, for instance, like I the flower has encryption algorithm. She has some like this. Um, Erdwin Kikikisi. Right, that's what we're doing in 2025. I just want to keep on reiterating that's what is going on right here. That's why I said, without a shadow of a doubt, every single person involved, including Matt Haney and whoever the fuck is playing at Jewish Legislative Caucus, whatever decertified police officers are playing, you're going to get kidnapped, tortured, and murdered. Thank you. I am not fucking playing with it. The fuckery that they started with this encryption, decryption is out of control. The feds have ordered straight military hits. Cool. All right, so let's keep on going. So we have this and that. You can write it out. You can put you can put it in the binary. You can put it in hex form. You can put it in floating point form. So one of the things that you guys can do is you can run a stream of a floating point or an array, thank you, above your code. So you guys know when you're like running your code, the way that it works, which started a big ass war in UK. And that's why they said that Russia's a security concern because somebody spread around like a way to encrypt and it's my channel. And it started something with Louisiana, one of the prosecutors, New Orleans Special Victims Unit, sex crimes. He committed suicide because I encrypted my computer. That's when Apple went in to a certain place and did something stupid, and they regret it because they got caught up. And I didn't do anything on my computer, didn't put any code, nothing. Because the next thing I put on my computer is going to shut down Apple completely. Cool. So that's it. Right. So now you guys could put it in the binary, or you guys have been playing with their minds too. Let me show you these. Somebody built a whole company off this. He said, thank you. Or you can put these in like these forms and then convert them into binary. So what they're building now is our ability to be able to put equations in binary, then run them on the CPU. Wow. So I can have the whole equation with the physics symbol, whatever. Mainly for like velocity, it will be really for rotations. Um, for centrifugal force. So what's centrifugal force? It's like basically the ability for something round and rotate to keep up like its force and its rotation, and like specifically around like the accelerant aspect of the circle. Yes, centrifugal force. So there's equations for centrifugal force. So for some of you guys, yeah, yikes. So there we go. Some of you guys are changing centrifugal force. Some of you guys are calculating centrifugal force, so you're editing centrifugal force. So they have different formulas in physics. That's why I said it's important, that some of you guys that wanted to work in this, get your certificate, take a little class, even listening to like YouTube tutorials every now and then, like 5 to 10 hours a week, maybe 1 or 2 hours. Some of you guys are busy, you're tired a little bit. That's what's gonna like help you moving forward. Okay. So that's one thing that somebody can go play with. You can make lists of different forces or make your own algorithms and like, okay, play with my rotations per minute. How would edit my CPU? This is the thing that the feds unlocked. There's something in assembly language. Yeah, but it has something to do with SIMD instruction to be able to like lay down pages of memory across like your registers and then attach like C++ scripts. So this is where you guys are going to start. Oh, okay. Oh, instead of me having to climb through all the kernels, climb through this developer certificate and that developer certificate and this one and that one, I edit my FPU and then I'm able to go ahead and like upload this to my computer. Right. Okay, cool. All right. Thank you. Something's getting turned off with the virtual reality. It's because it's something that got started with one of my flowers was planted in a certain place and they were playing with magic and like starting hella shit. Yeah, it's not even supposed to be like that. Somebody did something very sinister and treacherous, and they uploaded the whole entire planet to virtual reality and started a war. Right. So, I did have something to do with playing with my baby and her younger flower. That's the only way that they were able to do it. Okay, cool. So, centrifugal forces, things like that. Path of inertia. Editing. It's really like you want to be able to edit the path of inertia. You for certain people, you saw how whites got hit with this for their AI projects, their this and that playing, and then centripetal force, so that when you apply the electrical impulse to the binary, it distributes properly. So you guys are going to be looking into that. But you also like are there's a tool and system for this. Like how much force should you put? How should you string together the equations? What order should you put together the equations? Right. Okay. So there's something with a bunch of physics equations. Now, some of you guys have to learn. There's different physics equations. Like, how do I know which one? That's how you guys have to study. So, okay. So, well, I'm leading you there. Now, another thing that you guys want to play with, it's a good thing. So, how would I do that on my Apple computer? How would I do that? You guys would go into like your X code and start that. Yeah. So there's something too where like people are realizing that certain devices like work better than others, but depending on what you want to do. No. Okay. So that's what I have for you for the encryption, decryption. You guys have that flower. Let me see. Well, I have that flower. A lot of you guys are upgrading, you're working with your iguana and shit like that. But yeah, I got this encryption, this like master encryption thing. It can be a business. It's like 18 algorithms attached to it. And they have something to do with chemistry. Add force and pressure. Yeah. Sometimes you don't want a clean cut. You make yeah, let it be jagged. So now one of the things that's about to start is we're going to be moving into like more like security in our devices. But another thing too here is like some of you guys play with like your ETH port. I make encryption through sound. So I've made like encryption like sound files that they're trying to hide from the new feds here. Like, oh really? I've heard of these. Yeah, because somebody was trying to sell them in a defense contract. That was my work. So I'm the one that's been making these. So I love this one the most. Okay, thank you. And I only play them because they have like physical effects approved. So some people like watch when I listen to this in virtual reality how like it affects me because they can watch my brain waves. So when they play on my computer trying to send like frequency jammers and shit like that, that's why they went into Apple to play with my network interface card. They are seeing like, oh, she was playing this and it was stopping us from playing in her computer. So when I go and I make like the some of you guys that are getting your satellites, this has a component in it. Don't worry about that though. Trust me, like I'm gonna be making like brand new ones. I actually even found like a really even like doper crystal. I like found her. She's really messy when it comes to shadowing CPU. And then also too, yeah, and then I found these two together. They're a rowdy crew. Good. Okay, good. So that's what they were like doing on my computer. So now you see why people have been getting killed left and right. Now you see why they're asking Russia to leave the United States. Okay, cool. So, and Israel too. Don't ever forget that those motherfuckers have to get the fuck up out of here too. So let's get started. So centrifugal force, sound, yeah, because sound has electromagnetic capacity. Crystals have electromagnetic capacity. Give me 1 second. Let me get this book. Yeah. So little kids are getting placed back in their families, okay? Or their family friends, friends of family, and they're telling that white men were coming in rooms telling them about octopuses and iguana, showing them my book, telling them that they need to do this and that sexually, or they're gonna lose this or that, or this and that's gonna happen to them for not listening to whites. So just remember that your name is wrapped up in all that, and you're on public benefits. So this really exposed a lot of it, right? Because remember, a mineral has a formula. And if it has a formula, then it can have a floating point. Because netters, sorry, langes, that one's next, netters. For neurology, I have one of those too. So now one of the things here, radioactivity and luminescence. Luminescence is emissions of light. And you guys know that the internet, and it's from this book, okay? Just wanted to show you that because Russia wrote this book. So they know what they're doing with crystals. So you know that you could take crystals, perform frequency modulation on them, get the essence of the crystal and the sound, then use it to run internet, which they tried. It's sealed. I have to do it. I didn't know that you knew that. Why the fuck would I be sitting here playing on the computer with crystals and not know something that's scientific? How do you think I made those? Oh, and that's what happens when you fucking your family and you think that you're smarter than everyone, but you're just a nurse. It's a diagnosis. You're considered mental. Wow. I don't know. That Doug's been quiet today. He started a lot of shit. He's seeing the reaction across the planet. Okay, maybe not. I don't want to be identified. I'm actually a senior. Yeah, he's older. He's so cute. That's okay. So luminescence is emissions of light produced by minerals under ultraviolet or other short wave rays. Also pressure or heating. Hmm. Oh, so I can do something to the sound of a crystal, or I can do something with maybe an NFC chip in the crystal herself, accepting the sound, and then I can make my own computer, internet, things like that. Right? This is how they used to do it playing. Then you also need something with quantization for the mother crystal that carries all that. So you have to also project specific frequencies into the crystal itself. Like I did a lot before I made those. It takes a lot of energy, a lot of time. Listening, it's also too it's a certain anatomy in my ear that I have. I got like an upgrade to that, like to be able to hear the frequency and sound, like, okay, check it. Just and then you can see like the math equation over it. Like, okay, I need this type of equation. I need this to add this type of instrument that can bring this frequency modulation into the whole thing. That's how I was making those. And they were playing on my fucking computer. That's why I'm telling you that this nigga is like really racing to play in court. So, okay. So luminescence, right? But then you also have something called fiber optic, light internet. Didn't know the internet was ran off light. Somebody's getting arrested now. Just had to show you guys this. So that's why we're sitting here with the psych ward, because they're trying to get access to your computer illegally. That 5150 is about to turn into 5250 in just like a few hours. Give it 4 hours. Oh, wow. So some of you guys did not know that that's what was going on. Oh, for real? And people were also using them as healing tones. So they have a dual purpose. They have a dual purpose. These are considered defense weapons. So that's what I'm telling you. They're about to pay me. Okay, cool. So luminescence. So this is one of the things that you want to look at. Optical internet. Luminescence. There's like three other properties too in crystals that you guys can like do works on in order to bring out the specific like amount of Ethernet. So now one of the things is like, okay, how many of these sound files do I need? How long does it need to run? At what volume? Because that's like the force, right? The volume would be considered the force that increases the frequency. I can make a JavaScript shell. I can program and dictate the stream. I can do frequency modulation beforehand, or as the stream is running, I can assess or assign a frequency modulation. There we go. Now we have internet going. I need enough oomph to be able to reach the standard model in physics of particles. So I need to be able to reach the electrons and like one layer of like the leptons, quarks, strings, etc. And my things did that. Because if they can have an effect on my body like that, then that means that they can have an effect on your ETH port. Okay. So I'm a big girl too. So centripetal force is the force that makes an object move. Oh, it's not this. I was looking for uh-oh, optical internet. Yeah, that's what they're looking for on my computer. The whole hood just not found out. That's what that nigga's doing. Yeah, that's what my he's doing. He's trying to figure out how to get my blood in the psych ward to activate this to make it seem like he was never doing that. And that's why I'm about to have that nigga killed. Hey, real talk, tell that nigga to real talk be cool. Real talk be cool. Because this in front of the black and brown community, it's not a joke. So Daisy did this in 2020. So the entire time, that's what the fuck you were playing with. And that's why he's getting 5150. Some of you guys are just not finding out. My hand, he's getting 5150. London Breed, all of them, they just found out. Okay. Magnetic properties. Crystals have magnetic properties, yeah, but which one can we use? That's a divination too. There's thousands of crystals. Which one can we? It's done. Thank you. That's Afghanistan owns a lot of this. I'm telling you, everyone is going to make Jannah. What's the drama? Somebody's not answering his phone after starting hella shit in Afghanistan. He said, I'm making Jannah. I'm in the masjid. He said, when did you start going to masjid? And he hung up the phone. Woo. Right? Radioactivity. Many minerals contain radioactivity. Now, radioactivity and EMF. Radioactivity can actually help with, can create some type of connectivity. Radioactivity is a measured radioactivity is the assessment of the EMF field. So now, how would this like actually work? Whoa. Okay. Thank you. So, how would that actually work? Because I'm like sitting next to my divination board, so I don't like do things with my hand like that and then touch my divination board. Starting a bunch of shit and like flashing different torture chambers and different Aztecas coming to visit and asking me how I got to the planet, and here we go again. So radioactivity, right? Now this is also cartel shit. Radioactivity, it would be a measure of the radio activity. Do you see what I'm talking about? Of the crystal, because some of these stones can emit, some of these minerals they can emit. You can raise the emissions. You can play with certain tools and play with the emissions, raise them. I love playing with this. Like, oh, there's some like there's a high priestess. She's like ancient Spanish. And she had like I saw her laboratory in space. Some of you guys have seen her with long ass claws, and she had like this crazy like glass beaker. And she was like handling business, and I just saw her laboratory. I said, oh, whoa, somebody's getting tested. Yikes. So she was like showing me like these are the different things that you can do, right? And this is where we get like, oh, people trying to like they've been doing this for years, like mixing certain like copper cables with crystal stuff like that. They don't get anything out of it, right? And we can do this digitally. There's gonna be a big ass race war in America, guarantee it. This radioactivity you can measure. They have devices. There is a tool that you can measure electricity and radiation. You can get them both on your phone. So it's not about going and seeing what crystal this and that, but it's actually unlocking it to be able to carry the 0 and 1 binary frequency. So some of you guys are finding out like, oh, I was in the military in Afghanistan. I helped a bunch of little kids. I used to go see them all the time, give them food. We were real cool. Like I'm still friends with them on Facebook. Oh, they gave me this Akasha. Okay, some of you guys are finding out like, yeah, we fought for the blacks that they stole their turbinado sugar in Brazil. We all got a crystal Akasha because sugar's a crystal. Or we were showing people like healthy ingredients in China, no MSG, no MSG, because we saved people from that that should not be named, right? MSG, yum yum. They call it yum yum. Because we did that, we got a crystal. Yeah. So I'm telling you, that starts war in space all the time. Look, he's cooking MSG. I'm 70 years old. I've been a cook for all my life. Why are you starting this again, Liao Zawin? How old are you? It's like an old ass animal going around and just being hella petty. And because he was using MSG, so she said, "Oh no, crystal." Yes. So electricity. Piezoelectricity really is like playing in the standard model. It's not really playing with electrons. You're really playing with quarks, spin, and strength. People just not hearing this on my channel. So what I just said, you're not hearing this anywhere but my channel. So now, piezoelectricity. How do we amp piezoelectricity? Because what I'm doing on my computer with the binary 0 and 1, that's not really piezoelectricity. It will be considered because you can still feel the effect. How do we amp that to get like full electrical charges? You have to play with quantization, right? So, so they have these in crystals. So we can take the crystal and we can play. Turn that off. Turn it off. Now you see the disgust in turning some bullshit like that on, right? So yeah, why are they throwing chainsaws? Now you know why. Yeah. Qualitative chemical test of minerals. This is not would not be the one. Heating it with fire? No, 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 no. That's not what you play with. You have to go into the database of the crystal and like ask. Yeah, and that takes like a certain like coding system. Wollastonite. Then here goes the thing where you can put the crystal in her chemical configuration. This is Langes. Thank you so much, Auntie Natalie. She's like wearing her like lab coat. That's her voice too when she's like in that dimension. Thank you, Daisy. Thank you, Auntie Natalie. Yeah. Got a big auntie with me, Halle Berry off Babs. Hi, Halle. Also, too, I just want to like Halle Berry, Kelly Clarkson, hi, and all these women that are getting these weird ass niggas and they're dating ass niggas, and all of a sudden you have to pay them half your salary. Just know that they're all passing away. So, look, so I can make an array, or I can make a tensor space or an XYZ file. And that XYZ file, it's a chemical file. We can go ahead and create like an IDE or create whatever to have it running as the chemical. But the floating points themselves, like, okay, so when you have the intention to use this floating point specific from Langes, let me get this Langes real quick. So, like this Langes, right? Don't, I'm working. So Langes, okay. So you guys have seen that they have the specific like floating points that they for each chemical because they did chemical tests and said, oh, this is what it would look like. They've been adjusted, but remember, a lot of black and brown people were kidnapped to write these books. So some of you guys need to know that there's like a huge history of like black and brown people in science, like outside of Hidden Colors. I did like this like photo project. Like I had volunteered for like tech intersections like a long time ago, and I made like this like photo collages of like different black and brown scientists and things like that. And one of them, she just recently came up that she helped with like the polio vaccine or things like that. Um, and there's like a bunch of black and brown people you guys are going to learn about. They kidnapped them to make all this. So they are like, okay, this is our tool. You know, this is our gift to you guys for fighting the war. We're going to put these on chemical servers so you can like use these and use the floating points that are written down. So we don't have to go through other chemical configurations. They're already here. This is another Akasha you guys need to build towards. Okay, yeah, this is like a great thing. You have to earn this. It should be like that, right? So this is like one of the things in China where people are really getting knocked out. People are like, why are you playing with this? Yeah, so I have a table in here. Formula indexes, not that bad. It's like a table in here of floating points and stuff like that for it's not the refractive index. Somebody saw those floating points. No, but look at this. Hutchinsonite. Hutchinsonite, the refractive index is 3.17. I just saw that. Let's see what this Hutchinsonite is about. Hi, Mike Hutchinson. So everyone's finding out like, oh, we get to be like rich as we want. We can run this and this and that. We can have so much fun. It's like the radio again. And people are playing games Hutchinsonite. Oh, this is ratchet and can shatter your liver. Good. Wow, it's dipyramidal. Oh, that's okay. Well, that's what you guys want to play with. Not bipyramidal, dipyramidal. So why would I have two configurations inside one? Because it's like different crystals fighting and starting shit. Like it's like whole shit. Like like we both have a pussy, but who's gonna be like on top or something like that, like but we're both scissoring or something like that. It's like that type of thing, like one of them is trying to overpower the other. I'm gonna find it. It's like lynches. You have to. They have the gravity of different things in here. Also two XYZ files. Somebody realized that. Lynches again. Thank you, Aunt Natalie. You have everything that you guys need. Thank you, Miss Natalie. I wish I was on the planet again, but Daisy, I'm working in space. Thank you. Thank you, Auntie Natalie. Thank you, Seda. You did a lot with your music. Yeah, just to find out that nigga's really divinating, if you want to know. Hmm. He has a PhD in divination. Leave him alone. Spiritual Seda, yikes. Hi, Duty. Hmm. Brooke Jenkins, she's still in OTF. So this I'm gonna find and I'm just gonna put like a turn the ear. Oh my god, this book I love. Ooh, shrinkage and expansion conversions. Whoa. Porosity, yeah. Yeah, you guys probably want to get into the lab with that. Okay. Somebody's encrypting their entire computer with like different floating points. They're finding stuff online. That's okay if they don't have languages. You can put them on chemical servers. Some of you guys too, your octopus or iguana, you can just say, oh, they've done this, this, and this, and this, and this. I'm just gonna put this on the chemical server and activate it like that. But the floating point has to be activated by something, right? So I would love to have like everything like activated, but like you have to like activate it with something. So even like works that I did like a while ago, floating points that I put out a while ago, I'm gonna like either turn that off because the work is done, because that's ran by a substance. And like, okay, well, why have that flower going? She can stop. Thank you, thank you. She can focus on other things. She's very versatile. There's like several thousands of her, but like, okay. Logarithms, yeah, the logarithms. Yikes, thank you. So titrometric factors and logarithms of acids. The mantissa. This will be considered a mantissa. Because remember, a mantissa carries like 23 bits of memory. This can get gully, yeah. Just trigonometric to turn it into a file, like a chemical file, you would put the logarithm in the trigonometric function. And some of the investigators that are watching my phone and computer and stuff, we went through like a whole session of trigonometry. Somebody cried, like, I don't know, it was that simple. It's just like some bitch like starting shit, trigonometry. It's like, oh, you have to know me. You're such a fucking stalker. Damn. So, hmm, they have a bunch of stuff up in here. Okay, dope. A lot of logarithms in here. Cool. They have it for each of the specific, like aluminum, ammonium, every single chemical element. So then you can put your crystal together by performing. Now, here's another Akasha. To create that trifecta that will bring the crystal down, how do I order this? Is it A, B, C? How would I bring down that trigonometric function? Now, let's say, for instance, there's like, okay, but in this chemical that I'm using, right? This crystal, still a chemical, Hutchinsonite, 3.17. Damn, she really exposed herself tonight. That has nothing to do with Mike Hutchinson. It's just the person that discovered it, their last name. Don't start anything. This not 813, but drama here. Yeah. She's also getting to something. This is actually my baby daddy's also my baby daddy and his cut just goofy shit. I don't know. That's what this is saying right here. Cool. So Zimbabweanite or whatever this is, and it has calcium, bismuth, boron. So now another Akasha, because you guys are fighting chemical warfare. There's an Akasha that I got. Okay, well, I see the chemical combination, right? But how would I like string them together to create that trigonometric effect to get the crystal down? Show you how to like go ahead and do that, how to lay that down inside of the XYZ files, things like that. That's an Akasha because you can do that all day and not activate it. You can put them in wrong order and she'll be like, oh, I know what you're calling. She'll just like do it right. So let's say, for instance, like, okay, trigonometric though, but Daisy, I'm playing with a specific crystal. She has like five different like chemicals in her. Like, let me see. Like datolite. She has calcium, two calcium. Boron, she has two. Silicon tetraoxide, she has two particles of that. So it's the silicone, then tetraoxide, four oxygens, then that's two molecules of that because they're a compound. So then how would you then do that? Because trigonometric is only A, B, and C. So then it's gonna tell you which ones to add together. Somebody's gonna get killed. Which ones to add together, then which ones to put in A, B, and C. Like, okay, Vesuvianite. Vesuvianite. You're gonna add calcium together with aluminum, add that. Then you do a trigonometric function with the silicon oxide, one of them. One of the silicon oxide, you're going to do a multiplication with the uh, 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 um, carboxyl group. There's four. Then you're going to do a trigonometric function after adding the last three of the wow, and then doing a trigonometric function. Okay. So she has to show you how to do this. Like it's not the same for all of them. Whoa. Yes, somebody got hit with choppers of power, period. So now, some people listen to me all day in virtual reality. They're just saying, wow, whoa, ooh. That's what it's sounding like. Whoa, ooh, okay, yikes. Mm-mm, mm, whoa, yikes. Not in China, yikes. Yeah, because that conversation is still going. So, okay. So we're learning. So now some of you guys are like really getting into this and like, hey, let's encrypt this and like, let's see. Let's create trigonometric functions and like output them to the file that is my IP address because my IP address is not just a string, it's actually a file, right? It takes up like 128 like bits or something like that, unless you play with something with C++ and like edit the bits or something like that. Edit like the memory of your strings, like to take up this much and things like that. Or edit it in code. You can do that. Like this should be this much. This should be this much code and this much and this much. Right? So I love these two books. Like they work. Abrasives, Garnet. I like Garnet for cybersecurity. I like Garnet for cybersecurity, but I like her more for like cybersecurity if I'm running bash shells. But I really think that she would be super dope. Like that's kind of like what you're gonna see too. Like, okay, you don't need to go start buying crystals and starting shit and feeding kids crystals. The entire white community is getting removed for tech for starting this. So now you guys see there is no hacking this. Not possible. You can't activate any of this. Okay, trigonometric functions with chemicals on the internet. Okay, now I see how this has been going the entire time. So, so now you can also get the property of the crystals. Like, okay, if you understand how she can work on the internet, that's another Akasha. Like, what would I do? I'm vitreous. What can I do? Okay, cool. Okay, thank you for letting me know you. Cool. Okay, thank you, brother. Yeah. So everyone's finding out. Oh, look at this, bismuth, bismuthinite. She has 81.3% a valuable component. Just thought that was funny that my birthday's in there. Anyways, you guys, listen. Um, ooh, conductor or non-conductor? I'll tell you. Magnetic or what? Some people are putting like different crystals together, like they grow crystals. They mm, come on now, you guys, like be careful. There's like war with that one. Like, okay, these are beefing federations. Oh, you're a hoe in space. Oh, I shouldn't have put you in the same pot. So, also too, something got exposed at the zoo today. There's a tapir. She's right across from a certain type of like high priest. And now I see what the fuck has been going on the entire time in the hood. I was like, oh, that's what's actually going on with all these murders. Oh, yeah. Woo. So, he said he did not want his picture taken at all. Don't put him in any digital reality. He's so beautiful, that high priest. Yeah, he made a copy of himself right above my head. How convenient. So, okay. Ooh. System. Is it a rhodonite system? Is it a trigonometric system? Its crystalline structure actually has nothing to do with if it can or not. Her crystalline structure is just saying like, this is just how I like am keeping myself together, girl. I'm not supposed to be here. Like I'm hella fucking active and like out of control, but I'm just like using this structure to like be here. Like, oh, I don't know. I can transform here. Okay, so I just wanted to kind of give you guys that and like keep on working and studying, right? So some of you guys noticed I like slow down on doing some of the coding tutorials. I'm like just waiting for certain things to stop so we can like move forward. Because look at this, I can do this now. Okay, how long have we been doing this? You guys never even knew that that was on my computer. Magnesium bromide. I don't know why that sounds so interesting to me. Magnesium bromide. I can shatter your bones. Magnesium bromide. I can turn your liver into a burnt up hamburger patty. Okay, sounds good. There's also a system for like chemical people or like doctors. Like you can see what this chemical will do to somebody or the floating point. Like okay, some of you guys, Daisy, I want to use the ionic charge. Why are you? Can you please stop telling? Yeah. So now let's play with the ionic charge because so chemistry, you have like regular electronic charge, but then you have like ionic charge, right? So like let me pull this up for you because some people like why would there be different charges? Like ionic charge is like its own table and it has its own periodic table, but ionic bonds. So there's like ionic bonds and then covalent bonds. So then there's also ionic charge. Okay, cool, because that's a whole other set of reactions, ionic. So like covalent bonds are like, oh, more copacetic. Ionic is like something has to like leave or something has to come in order for the bond to be there. Then it can be a cation or an anion. This is really something with spiral chemistry. This is like the absolute force. It's like considered like primal force. Has a net electric charge. Also, two cations, atoms that lose electrons. Atoms that gain electrons and become anion is atoms that gain electrons become negatively charged. Okay, why would I gain electrons and then become negatively charged? Because maybe those electrons that I'm gaining, it's eating my energy, creating some compound that's making me like dull. This is like how you come down from a high. Atoms that lose electrons but become positively charged, cations. I would lose electrons and become like more positively charged. I would be like more reactive. Like I'm like shedding electrons, or these electrons are being given up for reactions, or for compounds to come, or for me to switch my orbital from hydrogen to krypton to xenon to whatever noble gas. So if I want to use like cations, sorry, if I want to play with this cations and anions, somebody just realized something goofy in chemistry. Oh, we can shut down your whole weight. No weight. Now you see how motherfuckers are moving bad weight. So let's say, for instance, like, okay, and a cation, slow down, is an atom that loses electrons. It becomes positively charged. And I can create bonds with the air. I can create bonds with anything. Atoms that gain electrons and I become negatively charged is quantization has been opened up on my ass. And if you guys are playing with this way, you're going to definitely go to the psych ward. Start playing with anions. I would suggest more anions than cations. Cations is like something a little bit different. It's like if we want to actually increase weight, then I can teach you how to play with colors. Thank you so much to a high priest that gave me an akasha to play with colors, play with music. So then you have your ionic charges, ionization constants, and they have their logarithms too. Oh, so I can play with the pure charge, ooh, of compounds though. Oh, these are wild reactions. Oh, really? Of compounds? Who's doing all that? What the fuck? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is like real war over this. Right. So now one of the things that's coming up here is like, oh, let's play with ionic logarithms. For the crystals, this is like, we would have to find the specific ionic constant for each element, which is right here. So they have them for compounds, they do, and it's inconsistent. But also, too, it's something with trigonometric functions. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so that's like just the thing with this. It's like, okay, why would this? So let's say, for instance, right, if I have like acetic acid, it's hydrochloride, it's dihydrochloride, trihydrogen, dioxide. How do you name a chemical? Like you just have to look at it and read it. Okay, so I'm on here and I'm looking for ionic charges. This is the periodic table with common ionic charges. It's like a whole table here. Mm, okay. So lithium is just plus a charge. And then it will tell you like with this, like, okay, how many atoms can it accept or give off in its valence? Okay, so let's say, for instance, I have acetic acid that I want to play with, or a crystal that comes with a certain combination. I would string together the ionic charge again, though. It can be different from straight just using like the regular floating points because you're playing with the ions. Ooh, but then you're playing more in the standard model. This is like very serious. Yeah, you can play all day. I can't wait to start teaching this, you guys. So, right? So these are just like your tutorial. Okay, woo. We got through a lot of content. So you know, keep these things, right? Some of your textbooks, some of your works, things like that. You don't have to go out and buy this. I'm gonna bring this to class. You guys can play with this all day. You guys are gonna be getting PDF pages. Actually, whoa, somebody's getting charged over this baby. So now, right? I'm gonna be turning some of these into PDF documents so you guys can like get these. Like you don't have to buy the book, things like that. Just wait, because there's like a lot. Don't Some of you guys want this one, go ahead and get it. Some of you guys don't feel like buying it. You notice something. Some people went to go buy this book. The person's not responding. They passed away. Some people try to fill the internet last minute, making it seem like what happened with this book is not wild. Even if it's $2, it's still dope. So one of the things here is using ions table. Yeah, one of the air chronicles wanted to say that she's sorry for starting that because she realized that there's going to be a big ass riot in the hood. So now, you guys, okay, one of the things that we're also going to go ahead and do is hmm, one of the things that we do, we can bring this to this crystal book. Some of you guys have found some, you found your own, super dope. Good. Just keep studying and we're gonna come together. Now the frequency modulation, like how do I hear the crystal? How do I know the crystal is like there's enough force? How do you quantify all that in the original sample? It's actually an akasha. It's called ear. So now you guys are coming back to like some of the lessons I'm putting on Patreon. Ear clear, aqua clear. Patreon, please don't worry about it. I'm like getting my like videos up. You guys saw. He's gonna make Jenna. Tom Fitton, yeah, you can call him. So, yeah, he can get approved. Yeah, something. No, let me see. No, no. Yeah, something with a phone call going out about a raid tonight about my computer. Right. Cool. I just thank God for the gifts because you guys saw me playing with all this stuff and you saw the upgrade. So you guys are getting your upgrade too. Because we weren't starting shit, feeding people brujeria, starting nonsense. We're getting all these gifts. Look at you. Yeah, some lady said, so what happened to all the papers that you were going to get from Martha? But where's the papers? Yeah. um, yeah, also too, thank you for everyone that went to go confirm on court record that there is no court case. I have no court case on my hand. He's done for. Thank you. That's done. So ear clear, aqua clear. This is like a lesson that I did. Yeah, it's none of these that they're playing with. But these are like certain anatomies that you have, ear clear, aqua clear. And then they're filled with certain substances. Azraban. Yikes. Yeah, every aquatic person has a it's like something for aquatic people, but for flower people, it's something different. So some of you guys are like learning your anatomy and stuff like that. Like, oh, this shouldn't be talked about. Okay, thank you. Everyone has their own specific things. Certain federations, I can't even see what's going on there. It's not my business. Thank you. I don't need to go there unless you call me there. Thank you. So some people have asked me for certain things later. Certain federations, we will do all kinds of stuff. Like, okay, just to confirm sounding board. Like, okay, we got this. Yeah, you got that right. Yeah, that's what I got too. Thank you. So, ear clear, aqua clear. These are in your ear. It's called ear, like EIR. So you can have ear, certain substance, aclear, aswaclear, acloclaclosir, and they run certain functions and shit like that. So when they started this virtual reality playing, I was like, right here, I'm telling you, I'm like 6,000 levels above. I'm telling you, just don't play with it. Yikes. Host playing way too much in space and opening up like real Pandora's box. How do I turn this off? They don't know how to turn it off. So yeah, there's one of these like on either side of your ear. That's how it started with Murders in the Hood. A host playing with this, and it's like going click, click, click. Ooh, yikes! That can get us started. That can get us started in the meridian that like anchors this down. So yeah, now you see what they're doing with small black and brown children. Okay, so also too, I mentioned that because HHS, the reason why they went after them first is because all their staff were moving around the budgets to play games with pedophiles with their husbands. And Hello Kids going missing from foster care with the school budget with HSS. And they found those kids in like videos and shit like that. and like a white lady, like, oh, I have look, I have an electrical language, and assaulting a child with the vibrator on camera and got caught. She's in jail. That's what the fuck they were doing, and everyone's sitting here watching. Oh, okay. That's what they do. They get on the computer every night, every weekend, throughout the whole entire summer, et cetera, playing like that on the computer until it exploded. So now you guys see. Cool. I'm about to go for a walk. It's really hot. My crystals are overheating. So now you guys see what they're talking about. Like, we can get this energy and that energy, and this will combine with this, and then you get this reaction. If you come near me, you follow me, I'm really gonna make sure you get murdered, okay? Just be careful, okay? Don't play with me at all. Every single camera in this space is tapped by the hood and the feds. You will get put on the list. Whoa. So now, really, magnetic properties, radioactivity properties, luminescence properties, and then physics properties, like the forces that it can carry, which is something different that needs to be cataloged for different stones. She doesn't really talk about this too much. You figure it out. Thank you guys. Okay, so that's what we have for tonight. I encourage you guys to get on my Patreon. Why? It's not about marketing because I'm teaching there. So you guys are just now saying, okay, but how did I not know about this? And okay, I need to approve this, and they're changing all this up, and I feel better in an instant. Some of you guys are like going to the hospital. You don't even know. Okay, I have to do this. I need to learn. I just don't want this in public so that we can catch people that are playing with this, trying to write books and this and this and that, and playing with black and brown people. I just don't put it publicly. This has been on my page for 3 years. Shit is still going down on my Patreon. We're doing classes every month because you guys remember I used to do that on here. I stopped. So the last class that we had was super dope. Like, ooh, planetary warfare. Yeah, somebody found out real quick. These souls are really crazy. Yeah, playing. I could see what they're doing from space. They don't have shit though. The last thing that they had is that they came here, they buried themselves throughout history. That makes sense for the soil network. It's nothing. Yikes. So they look like this. Looks like very beautiful, different like anatomies and shit like that. Yeah, clear, aqua clear. Now we're biochemical pathways and starting drama. A lot of this you won't even see. They did a lot on people like that. That's what you're finding out about. A bunch of brain scans and netters. They do neurology. They got caught up hella badly. Where are you getting all these brand new brain scans from? What are you doing? What are you identifying? Whoa, Azerban, they thought that they were going to open your head up and see like something pink and green. Yikes. So, so your homework. Got your homework, okay? So let's go ahead and stop that for tonight. Encryption. So now you guys know it's really in the chemical reality. Why? Because the metal is a chemical. What's the ionic charge of copper? How do you stabilize her ionic charge? What chemicals can do that? I'm telling you, you can't do this. You're not one of our people doing this. You're done. So everyone was wasting their time molesting kids and starting hella shit, playing games with my name, causing hella drama, trying to see how they can wage me in bullshit like in their country. Like, what can we do with this? How can we use this to like stop this case or stop that case because they're playing with people's kids starting shit. Also, too, there's a female named Jasmine. You're I just have to tell you because you lost this because you're playing with your baby daddy. He's having an affair on you, and you stop having fucking kids. Yeah, it's something with Stephanie playing with magic, starting with shit, and their families were playing with a meat market of kids that they kidnapped for rituals, and they were selling like bad meat. Yikes! Yeah, so that's why we can't go home right now. Yeah, well, she caused this and she caused that. Stop sticking your dick in crazy bitches that are exposing you and trying to have your wife killed with Cheong. Okay, great. She's watching, so she knows. And I really do know your boss, and he's watching your phone because somebody else complained about bullshit with your husband. They're like setting everyone up to get everyone out the job. Everyone just started it all at once. So, bye. Yikes. So now, yeah, you need some magnesium. You must be fucking stupid. So, anyways, you guys, it's like certain things that are going on with investigations and this AES, this encryption, because there's something with what I just mentioned. Her baby daddy was, they were playing with this and causing drama and thought that they would never get caught. And they ended up getting caught. So, just be careful, okay? Yeah, no, you don't have any of that. That's officially done. Yeah, people like clout chasing off a bunch of shit. Like, oh yeah, that's how you lose. That's not the point. Clout chasing is not the point. It's what you do with these systems. Okay. Thank you. So now, for some of you guys that have been handling your business, now you guys see what's going on with this virtual community that people don't have systems. So they're uploading me to virtual reality, try to get this and that, which is one of the things Stephen Ballmer is doing, which is why I'm gonna have him killed. So he is worried about the fact that they were uploading black and brown people in the military and that do defense work to virtual reality so that they can get access to certain things and make it seem like they have this and this and that. Also, too, some of you guys saw that ear clear, Echo clear. I'm gonna go ahead and tie you to a cursed and banished one. They have them on chemical servers, like, oh, so you can tie hosts to like cursed ones. Good. Now you have an anatomy.